Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Today's show presented by Only One Nation. If you're looking for this t-shirt, go to onlyoneNation60.com, but make sure that you use promo code FREESHIP to make sure you get some free shipping on orders over $35. What are we talking about today? Overreaction Monday. I want you to think of this video as being spicy, hot takey, and I want you to be interacting with me on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere that you see this video. Now, we are about to dive into some Derek Carr conversation, but before I do, I want you to get out your pen and paper here, and I want you to grade Derek Carr this season from a scale from 0 to 100. Hopefully you all went to school, so you know 0, absolutely terrible. 100, he's the best quarterback in the National Football League. And I'm just going to say this right now. We're going to talk about it. Derek Carr does not deserve to be benched. There's no reason Marcus Mariota should be in the game. And for everyone saying bench him for Nathan Peterman, I don't know what you were drinking, but no, sir. Derek Carr cannot get benched. Now, let's talk about this. Is this going to be Derek Carr's last season? I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads, and people are talking. And I've watched the games. He's been the starter for 7 years. People are always going to revert back to the career record, 41-57, 0 playoff wins. Anytime you've had a quarterback for 7 years and you have 0 playoff wins to show for it, you at least have to bring it up. Is it time to move on from him? The reasons why I'll say yes is because at the end of the day, they're not winning football games with him. The reason why I'll say no is because there's not really better options in the draft, because I don't anticipate the Raiders being in the top 10. I also don't anticipate them going out and finding another quarterback that you can pay basically $21.5 million, which, by the way, is a pretty good deal for a QB. But for this season, the amount of people are like, Mitch, he's having a career year. And you know what? Completion percentage-wise, you're right. Touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But let's also talk about fumbles. He had 5 fumbles. He's lost 4 of them, and honestly, he probably should have another fumble because they missed one week 4 against the Bills. When it comes down to Derek, he is a good quarterback, and I don't think that anybody would disagree that he's a good quarterback. But you need to get into the conversation of having a great one, a top 10 quarterback, because that's the only way you're going to be able to compete in the NFL. But let's also take a deeper dive now into some of these numbers. This is Derek Carr's stats when the game is 8 points or less this season. 49-66, 482 yards, and a touchdown, okay? When the game is 8 points or less, when they're winning or losing. So let me just make that note. Okay, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you see only 1 touchdown. Now, is he putting up great numbers? Absolutely. However, some of these numbers that he's putting up, I'm sorry, they are in garbage time. Here are his numbers this season when the Raiders are losing by 9+ points. 449 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I also want to make note, he has yet to throw a touchdown in the 4th quarter when the game is by 7 points or less. Derek is having a pretty good year for a lot of the receivers that he has going on right now. But at the end of the day, if we're still talking about it after 7 years, maybe it's time to finally move on. So what I want every person to do right now is share your opinion on Facebook, because that's what this show is about, getting your voice to as many people as possible. So whatever you think about Derek Carr is great. If he's the future, I want you to click the share button on the video below, and then I want you to click the Facebook icon, then click post to Facebook, and put your opinion on Derek Carr out for everyone to see. Let's go to the next hot topic here, Overreaction Monday. Is it time to fire Paul Guenther? How many Chucky heads are you guys going to give this one? For me, I'm going to give it 3 Chucky heads, and I think it's pretty likely. The reason why I didn't give it 4 is because they've got to play the Chiefs in Week 5. It might be 4, though, after this upcoming week. He's been the Raiders' DC since 2018, and even when you go back to his time with the Bengals, it was never good. The Raiders' defense has been bad for all 3 years he's been here. And then the other part that I want to make, think about all the big-name free agents that the Raiders tried to bring in that used to be good, and now we're having, again, just horrible years. LaMarcus Joyner, Corey Littleton, Malik Collins even is a name to throw out. You're going out and bringing in these big-time players, and they're not getting it done. So maybe it's time to look at firing Paul Guenther. And I'll tell you what, during my Week 4 watch party, there was no comment that was more heavily being just typed than fire Paul Guenther. So let me know, is it time to move on from PG, type FPG for fire, or type K for keep? So I allude to the fact that it could be 4 Chucky heads because if you're going to fire Guenther, you do it after Week 5. You do it during your Week 6 bye in preparation for Week 7, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, the Chiefs undefeated as of right now that I'm making this video. The Bucs are 3-1. The Browns are 3-1. And the Chargers, sure, they're only 1-3, but it's still an interdivision game. If you're going to make the move, you do it in Week 6, and you're probably going to make Rod Marinelli your new DC. Earlier on in the show, I said, hey, Only One Nation, they're sponsoring today's show. So if you want to go get this hat, it's only $29.99, and it's at the link that you see below. Go to onlynation60.com. Use code FREESHIP to make sure that you guys are getting free shipping on orders over $35. If you want the t-shirt that I'm wearing, guess where I got it? Yeah, onlynation60.com. They have face masks, they have hats, car flags if you want to rep the team even when you're driving down the road. If you're looking for new Raiders gear, onlynation60.com. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the description in case you guys, for some reason, can't remember it. Let's go now to the conversation around Erik Harris. And Erik Harris can't start for the Las Vegas Raiders. I tweeted it out. It got close to about, 200 retweets, over 1,000 likes. This one's for Chucky Heads, believe it, baby, for the simple fact of every person that watches the Raiders, you can instantly see Erik Harris doesn't deserve to start on any NFL defense as a safety. He's a great locker room guy. He's a team captain. And honestly, he's a really good special teams player. And special teams players have roles on teams. They shouldn't, though, start at free safety. Look at his 2020 PF grade. I mean, you're talking about the 70th best safety in the National Football League. It's a 46.2. Imagine getting a 46.2 on a test. Guess what? It's not something you would put on your fridge. Look at his coverage stats. He's allowing 71.6% completion percentage. That's bad. 32.4 yards per catch. That's laughable. A quarterback rating of 153.3. For those of you that don't know, a perfect rating is 158.3. And a touchdown. Erik Harris is not good enough to start. So I'm picking up my phone right now. And I am calling these 5 players. Earl Thomas, what's up? Ha, are you available? Reid, I get that he's more of a strong safety just like Ha, but they're both better than Erik Harris. I'm going to call back Prince Amukamara. And yes, I understand that Eric Weddle is retired. However, think about it. We brought over LaMarcus Joyner, a former Rams player. You brought over Corey Littleton, former Rams player. Kyle Emanuel was retired, a former Rams player. You got him out of retirement. Maybe those 3 players could call up Eric Weddle and say, guess what? This defense needs help, and we want you to come here. So what I tried to do here is moves that I'm going to make at the defensive back position that are realistic here. So for me, I'm going to move LaMarcus Joyner to free safety because ever since they tried to put him in the nickel, it hasn't worked, Paul. Move on. Maybe you put him back at free safety. And why not give Prince Amukamara a call? Bring him back. You sign him in free agency. The reason why you moved on from him is because you had Damon Arnett starting. He's on IR for about 6 to 8 weeks. Bring him back. Sure, he wasn't the best player you had, but guess what? He's better than Isaiah Johnson. I'll take him over Nevin Lawson, and I'm going to move Keyshawn Nixon in the nickel for the simple fact of he's at least been, decent, because Amik Robertson, I'm sorry, looked really, really bad in Week 4, getting burnt, missed the tackle. He just simply didn't look like he was ready to rock and roll. Now, everyone out there, I get it. This is a hot and spicy show. That's what Overreaction's all about. But I also know this. That's the shows that Raider Nation loves, and I've never met a Raider fan that's not afraid to give his opinion. And if you are a Raider fan that likes to give your opinion, then subscribe to the Las Vegas Raiders Report, the #1 fastest growing Raiders channel here on YouTube. Link is below. If you are already type sub. I appreciate it. Next topic here. Is it time to sign or trade for a wide receiver? I'm only going to give this one Chucky head, and I believe it's a small shred of truth. And the reason why it's only one is because the receivers that everyone's telling me to go out and sign, that the Raiders go out and sign, Des Bryant, no. Michael Crabtree, no. Those guys are not better than the current players on the roster. And I'll also say this. Maybe we shouldn't go full-blown panic because I anticipate Ruggs and Bryan Edwards coming back Week 7 against the Bucs. They're not going to be playing Week 5. And for Derek, the conversation goes back to he doesn't have anyone to throw to because you're down Ruggs, you're down Edwards, you're down Tyrell. Think about it. Those would have been your top 3 receivers coming into the year. Yes, Hunter Renfrow has played well, but he's only a slot receiver. I thought Zay Jones had a solid game in Week 4. Nelson Agholor, I thought, played insanely well for a normal Nelson Agholor type of role. He should have had a 49-yard touchdown. That one got called back due to a penalty on Foster Moreau. So for me, I'm not going to go full panic mode on adding a receiver. The only receivers also maybe you could trade for, I've seen rumors around Julio Jones. That ain't going to happen. I've seen rumors around A.J. Green. Again, another one not going to happen. The most realistic receiver that I think makes actual sense for this team to go out and trade for is John Ross. But you only make that trade, in my opinion, if you're really worried about Henry Ruggs and his future. So do it right now. Name a wide receiver that the Raiders should add. If you disagree with me or if you're like, man, Mitch, I watch the games. They need to go out and add some talent. I want you to name a wide receiver that the team should go out and add. Do it here on YouTube. But you know what? I want you to also do it on Twitter, because I know people on Twitter not afraid to give you their thoughts, and that's what I want here. So just like we did earlier on Facebook, share this video on Twitter. Click the share button right underneath. It literally looks like what you see on screen. It looks like that arrow. Click the Twitter icon, click tweet, and if you want to at me, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Let me know a wide receiver that the Raiders should go out and sign, or hell, even trade for. The last overreaction here, and this is the one that I actually anticipate people probably getting upset at me for, but we're going to talk about it because I think it deserves to be talked about. Are the 2020 rookies a bust? This one's two Chucky heads, and people are talking. You go out and draft Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett. They've been okay. I'm sorry when you're drafting people in the top 12, top 19. Damon Arnett right now, he was allowing before his injury. His PFF grade, I believe, was like 59.7. His coverage stats were not very good. We've already seen reports about Henry Ruggs not really getting in chemistry with Derek Carr. You've already moved on and traded Lynn Bowden Jr. for less than a fourth-round pick. And Tanner Muse, John Simpson, Amik Robertson, you're lying to me right now if you can tell me that they've inspired any confidence in you whatsoever. Because Tanner Muse, they've even said when he comes back off IR, they're going to put him on the practice squad because he's not ready to play. Then John Simpson, he already got benched after starting one game in week 3 to Denzel Good, and because he didn't play well. And then Amik Robertson, we've been hollering like, hey, let's put Amik in, let's put him in at nickel. His very first play at nickel, he gives up a 44-yard touchdown to Gabriel Davis. Who the hell's Gabriel Davis? Exactly. Plus, just a few plays later, he missed the tackle. Now, what I wanted to do with this show is I wanted to be fiery, and I wanted to be inspired because losing 2 straight games sucks. And now you got the Chiefs in week 5. You're going to find out real quick how good your team is. And also, I don't know if it's going to be all that great because Patrick Mahomes, that guy, he's pretty freaking good. So be honest with me here. That's what the show's about. Is the Raiders 2020 draft class already a bust? Y for yes, N for no. I am going to type my N for no because it is still only 4 games. But it is still something that we need to talk about. If you've made it this far in the video, drop me out a like. And also, if you're looking for new Raiders gear, remember, onlynation60.com. You made it to the end of the video. Much love to y'all. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the Las Vegas Raiders Report. All you got to do is just click this button right over here for daily free Raiders videos. And if you're like, hey, I want to see more, I need more Raiders content, watch this next video over here. Raider Nation, I love you. Let's get a win in week 5.